There is a truth that sounds simple, but changes everything once you truly understand it. Happiness is not built by adding more things to your life. It is built by letting go of what was never meant to stay. Most people think happiness is something they reach, a destination, a reward for achieving enough, earning enough, becoming enough. So they keep adding more goals, more possessions, more expectations, more pressure, thinking that eventually, at some point, it will feel like enough. But something strange happens along the way. Instead of feeling lighter, they feel heavier. Instead of feeling free, they feel overwhelmed. Instead of feeling closer to happiness, they feel further from themselves. Because happiness is not always about accumulation. Sometimes it is about release. And what weighs people down the most is not always what is happening right now. It is what they carry from what has already happened and what they fear might happen next. Most people are not exhausted today. They are exhausted by yesterday and tomorrow, living inside their mind at the same time. The mind becomes crowded with unfinished stories, regrets that never fully settled, conversations that were never resolved, paths that were never taken. And on the other side, imagined futures filled with uncertainty, worst-case scenarios, and fears that have not even become real. And slowly, life stops being lived in the present moment. It becomes a constant negotiation between what was and what might be. One of the heaviest forms of invisible burden is fear of the future. Fear of the future is strange because it feels responsible. It feels like preparation. It feels like protection, like you were doing something useful by worrying in advance. But in reality, it's a debt you are paying without ever having taken it. You spend emotional energy on problems that don't exist yet. You rehearse failures that have not happened. You react to situations that are still only imagined. And in trying to protect yourself from pain, you begin limiting your own life before anything has even started. You hesitate before opportunities. You hold back in conversations. You delay action. You shrink your choices, all because of something that may never arrive. And that's how fear quietly shapes a smaller version of life. Then there is the past. The past is deceptive in a different way. It doesn't always show up as pain. Sometimes it shows up as memory, as a reflection, as nostalgia, as something familiar that feels safe because it is known. But if you look closely, the past often behaves like a chain, not because it exists, but because of what we continue doing with it. The past itself doesn't hurt. What hurts is the repetition, the replaying, the revisiting, the constant return to moments that no longer exist except in your mind. Some wounds do not stay open because they are still bleeding. They stay open because they are constantly touched, reactivated by memory, kept alive by attention. And the mind, without realizing it, can become the place where pain is preserved long after the moment has ended. That is why so many people feel stuck, not because they are still living in the past, but because they are still interacting with it internally. And when a person lives like this, something important gets lost: the present moment. Because the present is the only place where life actually changes. The past cannot be rewritten. The future cannot be controlled. But the present is where every decision is made. Yet when the mind is occupied by fear and memory, the present becomes invisible. You are physically here, but mentally elsewhere. And nothing meaningful can fully grow in a place where you are not fully present. Neither the future responds to your fears, nor does the past change because of your nostalgia. But both can dominate your experience if you allow them to stay in control. That is why letting go is so misunderstood. Letting go is not forgetting. It is not pretending something never happened. It is not denying your history or erasing your experiences. Letting go is clarity. It is understood that not everything you have lived deserves permanent residence in your mind. Some things are lessons, not lifelong weight. Some things are moments, not identities. Some things are chapters, not definitions. And maturity begins when you can separate what shaped you from what should still control you. You do not need to erase your past to move forward. You only need to stop living inside it. You also do not need to eliminate fear to progress. You only need to stop letting it make decisions for you. Character is built in that space, in the moment you stop justifying your emotional blockages. When you stop saying, "This is just how I am," as a response to patterns that keep you stuck. When you stop blaming yesterday for what you refuse to change today. When you stop letting tomorrow steal your energy before it arrives. Because as long as you remain in that cycle, there is no real progress, only repetition with different scenery. Same thoughts, same fears, same emotional weight, just in different situations. And then something shifts when you begin to let go. Not all at once, not dramatically, but gradually. You start noticing that certain thoughts no longer have the same power over you. Certain memories stop pulling you back as strongly. Certain fears lose their grip, and space begins to open up. Space in your mind, space in your energy, space in your attention. And in that space, something important becomes possible again: presence. Because happiness does not arrive when everything is finally solved. If you wait for life to be perfect before you feel peace, you will always be waiting. Happiness arrives when you stop carrying what you cannot control, when you stop dragging what no longer belongs in your present life, when you stop allowing invisible weight to define how you move through the world. And that moment is not dictated by time. It is not something that happens one day automatically. It is a decision, a quiet one, a personal one, a moment where you choose to stop feeding what drains you, to stop revisiting what no longer serves you, to stop projecting fear into a future that has not arrived, to stop reliving a past that no longer exists. And in that decision, something subtle but powerful happens. Life does not suddenly become perfect, but it becomes lighter, clearer, more real. Because when you are no longer carrying everything at once, you finally have space to experience what is actually here. And that's where happiness starts to feel less like something you chase and more like something you stop blocking. If you loved this video, make sure to like this and subscribe to this channel for more content like this.